Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at my rank deck, or what was previously my rank deck. So, the reason I'm playing this list is I made this quite a while ago, and it's just fairly strong. Not much else to say about that department. But yeah, Fissure is a pretty strong card. Specifically for going first, it kind of falls off going second unless you're in specific matchups. Like if I'm against Branded, Mirror Jade won't be able to send for cost anymore. So yeah, that's one of the examples. Fissure would be actually good going second. It sometimes comes up. Most of the time it doesn't, but Fissure disables a variety of hand traps. So Effect Veiler, Ghost Ogre, those would not be able to activate, and Droll as well. Not that Droll super matters against Cash, it's kind of like iffy. But yeah, we're getting pretty murdered here. We're losing one Gamma, one Shifter, and Prosp. So Prosp is pretty huge because it's big 6 cards for me. And I can also banish some fairly useful cards. So if I banish the Infinitrack Goliath and Entis, I can attach them both to Arise Heart. And this does a few things. So if I activate Arise Heart to attach, then it becomes indestructible while Goliath is attached here. And if I have Entis, if my opponent outs the Arise Heart, I have like essentially a bomb. Well, I essentially have a bomb strapped to my Kashtira Arise Heart here, right? So pretty neat, I suppose. And then here with this list, we're kind of like suffering without these. So the consistency that Prosp brings is actually pretty absurd. I can use Prosp to dig for something like a Fissure or Macro, Imperm. I can dig for deck lockdown. I can dig for a starter, dig for like another card, and it also gets these guys banished for Arise Art. So pretty strong in general. And then with Shifter being limited to 1, I mean, you'll probably still play Shifter in like Cash, even as a 1-of. But yeah, 1-of Shifter will probably not feel as great to play for when you're going second, you know? Only seeing it in like 1 in 10 games versus 2 times in 10 games, I guess, approximately. If I recall correctly, the odds of seeing a 1-of in a 40 card deck is approximately 10%, and then with 2 cards it bumps up about like 10%, so you're about 20%, and then with 3 cards it's like 30% or so. So that's kind of how the math on that works. So 1 out of 10 games we will now be seeing Shifter, I guess, and before it would have been 2 in 10 or 1 in 5, which would be like a lot more frequently, and this card arguably is just auto win. So not seeing it pretty hurts pretty bad. And yeah, if we were to update it, the list, it ain't looking so hot. But this just means one thing. It's time to probably either option A, we just adjust the list, or option B, we just build an entirely new list for ranked, I guess. So probably leaning towards the other option, but I mean, this list just had a lot of things going for it. So first off, it plays really well into Max E. So we have Gamma able to kind of abuse the Max E. So we have like Gamma Fissure, which abuses Max E pretty hard. We also have Shifter Gamma, which also abuses Max E pretty hard, right? So if you were to ever Max E me, then I can do quite a lot, right? Or maybe even potentially an Ash Blossom Joy Spring on my Prosp. Then I can go Gamma to negate that, and then we go Omega to hand rip. So off of trying to activate one hand trap, we can make our opponent go -2 here, and it's a pretty nasty punish. So that's one of the disgusting tricks in this deck. The other trick, I guess, is that we have deck lockdown, which beats like the majority of decks, honestly, cannot play under deck lockdown, because this is far worse then Colossus. Not only can you not add cards from the deck to your hand except by drawing them, monsters cannot be special summoned from the main deck either. So a card like Original Sinful Spoils, not only would you not be able to add that, or Subversion, you wouldn't be able to activate like a Snake Eye Ash to summon Flamberge or Oak either. Not that you'd be able to summon them off of like an Original Sinful Spoils as well. And then on top of that, we have the Dimensional Fissure and macro like effects in this deck, which also shut down Snake Eye. So this is what the deck was mostly made to play against, because it was like pretty prominent. And honestly, making a Rise Heart was kind of just not that good, because a Rise Heart, if we were to make the Arise Heart, yeah, this gets outed by like 15 billion different things, but a Fissure does not, or a deck lockdown. So another reason why we're playing so many copies of these cards, and the deck is of course back to going first, right? So Arise Heart has, just in general, if we're looking at just solo Arise Heart, there's so many outs to it. So we had a activate Bonfire to summon Poplar. We have normal summon Poplar. We have normal summon Snake Eye Ash. We have like all those. We have just Imperm, triple Tactics Talents, to just like so many cards that can just negate Arise Heart and turn off the macro effect, or just kind of remove Arise Heart just with the engine to begin with, right? So yeah, that hurts. Then it would enable you to do whatever play you have without too much difficulty. And of course, there's also Kurikara. If you're playing that also deals with this pretty easily. So yeah, it's almost like double digit in the amount of cards that can out Arise Heart in like Snake Eye. So macro effect, good. Arise Heart itself, not so good. We'll put it that way. But just for example, if I were to play this hand, I would just consider if I want to play around Effect Filler or not. I think Effect Filler doesn't really matter here, so we'll probably start with Special Summon Kashtira Ogre, activate the Fissure. If my opponent chains Max E to the Fissure, we get to activate Ogre here. And we'll only Special Summon 2 more times, so our opponent will only end up going +1. And they will not likely have the out to what I'm about to set up, and we will have Fissure, so we're probably just chilling. So, alright. If my opponent activates Maxi, I will most likely be able to tell what they are playing off of being able, well, with the ability to excavate 5 cards, and knowing the next cards they will draw, I will also be able to potentially gauge like how many times I can special summon without it being a hindrance. Like for example, maybe the 3rd card or 4th card or something, 4th or 5th card my opponent plays might be like problematic, or all of the cards are problematic. If so, I can just summon Rise Heart here and just banish those cards. Like it kind of depends, I suppose, right? But you get a lot of information and a lot of things you can do once you resolve Ogre essentially under Maxi. It's pretty nasty. We could even pass by just like normal summoning Unicorn or Rise Heart and it would be fine at this point. So if I resolved Ogre effect to search Prep, I would have Prep to summon a banished Fenrir. If I banish Fenrir with Rise Heart, that's not really stoppable. And there is the idea of, if I want to go a little bit further, we could technically go like normal summon Unicorn, and then have Unicorn grab Theosis, and then we can special summon Fenrir, and then we can grab like a different guy for later. Like maybe we grab Tearcash to mill 3 cards off the top of our opponent's deck afterwards to kind of like interrupt more. To kind of be more annoying. And all of this will be like either 1 special summon after our opponent activates the Maxi, or 0, depending on how I'm feeling, I guess, right? So, pretty strong stuff. Would be a little bit better if I had some hand traps, but Fissure is pretty game winning if I am going first, right? So, next thing is just, yeah, probably figuring out if we can salvage the deck. So we lose 3 cards, which is pretty bad. We lose the Prosp, the Gamma, a copy of Shifter, and there's no chance I'm playing Desires with 1 copy of Fenrir. So what can we do here? Well, honestly, I love playing Gamma because Gamma is just so good, just in general. But if it's at 1, I don't think I can justify this for consistency reasons, and like, you know, one of Driver, 1 of Gamma, that's pretty bad. So yeah, now we have 5 cards that we can just do whatever with. So I guess one of these slots, if I were to keep this deck, triple tactics. For the time being, we can go like tactics and then thrust. We don't have a super good target for thrust. We just have like infinite impermanence. And if we're just playing 1 of thrust, I don't think we need to go that far. So, alright. We'll start with adding the additional triple tactics talent, I guess. And we can put in the 3rd copy of Birth now, I suppose. And we're hurting for consistency now without the Prosp, so we probably need something to fix that. Let me think. Do we have any way to small world bridge into anything? No. Yeah, no. That would take too many cards. So, as of currently, we don't, right? The only thing I can do is like Scareclaw Cash into Ash Blossom Joy Spring to grab like Kashtira Rise Art. And most of these guys, wait, all of these guys are psychics, right? Yeah, okay. Except for Rise Art. So there's no like bridge from anyone to anyone. So that's not great. The other really good thing about Gamma being that it kind of can't really be stopped unless you have maybe Crossout. I think Crossout's probably one of the only ways to really, like, quote unquote stop the Gamma. Like, even if you were to Ash Blossom, I can just Gamma again later. So that doesn't really stop it. Called by doesn't work against Gamma unless you for some reason have a driver in your graveyard. But that's probably not gonna happen. So yeah, the only way to reliably or somewhat reliably deal with like a Gamma against the going second player is to give either your opponent a card so they cannot summon the Gamma, or to activate Crossout, which is a lot more reasonable. If we were playing like Dino, we'd be able to do it, right? If we did like activate Lost World, normal summon Soul Eating Soul Eating Oviraptor, chain 1 Ovi, chain 2 Lost World, that would be a way to completely play around Gamma. But yeah, that's not a thing we have in this list. But also these 3 slots that we have open, we do want to play something like super impactful if possible. Another good thing, I guess, about like Gamma was that it worked under Shifter, so that's something that Effect Veiler doesn't do. So if I were to play that, it's just not great. So we'll go grab, I guess, for the time being, we can do Ghost Mourner and Bell. But Bell is a bit more contradictory than the Ghost Mourner because with Bell, if I activate the Bell, it's probably going to be against like Called By mostly. If I really think about it, that's probably the biggest issue. And also this list specifically doesn't play Called By the Grave because the thing you primarily play Called By the Grave for is going to be Maxi, and we'll just tank the hand traps and we'll probably be fine. So that's why we play Fissure, like 3 copies of Fissure instead of any copies of Called By. So that's like the rationale behind this. So, alright. I guess I don't really like playing Planet Pathfinder, but I can't really see anything like a whole lot better. Usually you would play probably like a second field spell of some sort, Planet Pathfinder. That'd probably be ideal, but I don't want to use my normal summon on that. So that's pretty rough. So guess we'll just do maybe second triple tactics talent. And that's probably what you would have to do here. I mean, it's not like my favorite, but it also sucks that Ghost Mourner could be like called by, but like Gamma could not have been. So yeah, that's pretty painful, I guess. And we can adjust this extra deck. So we'll remove at least this guy. I don't know what else we're going to put in for now. I guess like second Shangri-La could be useful, or second Dark Arm Dragon. Second Zeus could also be useful. Like a lot of useful things in general. Like just moderately useful though. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. And if there are any recommendations for any um, decks I could build for ranked, I might take that into account in my next ranked deck, because the lifespan on this one's pretty over, I feel like. I mean, this is still playable, but won't be nearly as powerful as before. With this, I usually was just vibing with like 80-90% win rate to Master 1, like whenever I needed to hit Master 1, you know? So, rest in peace, I guess, to this list. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.